So then you worked at the University of Victoria. You had a couple roles here. So you're a program manager, administrative coordinator, and health research officer. How did you come across this? And then what did you do in those roles?
Yeah, so I think, I'm just kind of like a chronically curious person. I have a hard time sticking with one job, honestly, because I just want to do everything. Again, maybe it's the Gemini-ness, or maybe it's just, I find the field of health and just kind of work so interesting. And so, yeah, with those jobs, I can't quite remember how I probably like the job board. A lot of university jobs, they have a pretty decent job board. And yeah, it was a very interesting experience at the University of Victoria. It's a beautiful campus. If you ever want to come up this way, it's honestly, it's like there's a ring road and then there's buildings within it. So it's a very serene, beautiful place to work. And this was pre-pandemic, so we were in the office, 5 days a week kind of thing. Yeah, when I was working as the administrative researcher, administrative coordinator at the Research Center for Religion and Society. It was kind of a different job than what I've had before, in that it was, yeah, very administrative, but also working in an area that was not explicitly health related. But I will say in my undergrad, I did half of a minor, so 3 courses in religious studies. It was not really anything that was on my transcript. But I find, like religion and spirituality and that whole topic so interesting. And it is an aspect of well-being, right? And if you're thinking holistically. And so in that job, we were working, we were running like fellowships and kind of research programs with various students, faculty members, as well as, some kind of people who were within, different faith traditions, whether they're clergy or pastors and various folks like that. And so it was such an eye-opening experience. It was the most diverse place in terms of all of the aspects of diversity that you can think of. I learned about religions that I didn't even know existed. We had just such amazing conversations. So even though the job itself was very administrative, I'd say it was one of the bigger kind of mind expanding jobs I've had. And then the administrative part is also really, was really helpful, because every single job, or every single workplace, there are administrative aspects. There's budgets, there's, this and that. And so kind of getting my hands into the weeds of that has always have really paid off. Like when I work with admin folks now, I have just a better sense of what they're dealing with. And I will say also another piece of that job that's kind of been helpful is I worked a lot with endowment officers, or in development officers, so with donations and stuff. And that knowledge has really come in handy, because I'm actually creating my own scholarship right now with the University of British Columbia. So it's not officially out yet, but they said I can kind of speak about it. It'll hopefully be out in the fall. It has to go through Senate and all of that. But essentially, it's an award that will be kind of in my name, and it's for students of the MPH program specifically, who are neurodivergent. That was the kind of area that I really wanted to focus on after working with clients who are neurodivergent. I have the majority of my friends and loved ones are neurodivergent. I'm personally not, and trust me, I've taken all the tests, and it's not something that I currently have, but it's something that I'm surrounded by in my work and personal life. And I do see the kind of challenges that can sometimes arise when neurodivergent folks are in an institutional setting. And so I'm super excited about this scholarship, and that job has allowed me to understand the process of developing a scholarship much more than if I hadn't done that job.
That's awesome. And I think it goes back to just how things are so interconnected in our learning and developing as people, and we never know how that administrative or like working with the people in the endowments is going to come back to help you and support build out the scholarship. So I didn't know this was a thing. So like I'd love to hear more about like what does that look like for you to work to create a scholarship?
It's actually really easy. Like if you just have the money and you have a general idea of how you want it to go, like that's kind of all it takes. You could get as involved or as not involved as you want. I've been a bit more hands-on because it's important to me But basically, every university kind of has their own process, but the one that I'm working with, UBC, the smallest amount that you can put in is basically, $10,000 over 5 years. So it's a $2,000 scholarship over that time. You don't have to put it all down at once. So every year that money kind of gets taken out. And for me at this point in my career, that's financially accessible. As well, I'm kind of I'm trying to make it more sustainable by weaving it into my business. So 10% of every single session goes towards like a fund that will then fund, a portion of the next year, or hopefully at some point the full amount, to make it a bit more sustainable. So yeah, making a scholarship is super easy. Universities will be happy to take your money, and you can put it, towards students. Obviously, that's what I would like, or you can put it towards research as well. So there's lots of different options, and you just have to talk to them. There's a whole team of people that their whole jobs is to do this. So.
Okay, that's cool. Well, I look forward to seeing this scholarship being launched. Fingers
Yeah,
crossed, and seeing that impact as well.
yeah, for sure.
Awesome, awesome.